Hey everybody, what's good? It's Moosky here, back in the torture labyrinth, coming at y'all to talk about one of the only things that I actually care about in my life, which is Byler. Every second of every day, I am actively Bylering out. It can't be stopped, it's like math test, don't care. I'm just kidding. I actually just got accepted into my dream college, so I do have other passions in life. But the main things that I care about, as you will see from my Twitter account if you follow me, at Mooskymiwi, I don't really know how to use Twitter, to be honest. I lurked on there for years and I just like made my account public, like started posting. So I don't really know how to use it, but follow me if you want. I just post like stupid shit every now and then. Usually just repost things. Anyway, as you will see from my posts on there, really all I care about is Byler and Ethel Kane. That's just like, I don't know. And they go very well together in my opinion. So anyway, I wanted to make a video talking about a few things. So I want to talk about recent kind of updates and things that the streets are saying, where I hope Byler will go, or like ideally what I wish it would be like, and how I think it's actually going to go, what I think the reception to it is going to be. And I also want to talk a bit about things in the fandom that are raising my blood pressure. I'm going to start with the things that are raising my blood pressure. Sorry, my dog is on my bed. And things that are raising my blood pressure. I feel like a lot of people that are being very vocal right now don't understand that TV shows and movies, they are not real. They are, in fact, fictional. I just think a lot of people get very defensive and up in arms about these things that I'm like, okay, it gets to a point where I'm kind of concerned about how this person thinks, because not this person, but people that behave that way. It's okay if somebody has an opinion that you don't personally agree with or that you don't like. It's okay for somebody to headcanon something. Like, people are just getting very, very defensive, and I think it's just the fact that people forget that fiction is not reality, that characters are characters. They're not real fucking people. And people are allowed to have different interpretations that you don't. I'm all for, like clowning on Malevins and stuff because I think it's funny. But it's not even that. It's literally like, it's your own people. It will be your own people, because I see Bylers with just like atrocious takes that I'm like, who are you? Because for one, it's like people can't express attraction to a character because it's like, that's a minor. Okay, for one, most of the time the person expressing that attraction is probably about 15 years old and the actor is 22 or something. Like, listen, yes, I do think it is weird. Like, I saw some grown woman that was like, I'm 45 and I was turned on by the end of Stranger Things The Sorcerer. Like that, okay, that's weird. That's weird. We can all agree that that's weird. That's fine. But I think people get way too defensive about this stuff, where it's like, it's okay. It's okay for teenagers to like have a crush on a teenage character, like find them attractive. Like, I think that is normal. But since I turned 18 a few weeks ago, was it a few weeks? I don't even know what date it is, but since now I'm 18, everybody's probably gonna like dogpile me for saying that, because suddenly everything changes when you hit 17 years and 365 days. Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, I'm sorry. I think maybe that's my thing, is just nothing to me is ever that big of a deal. And another thing with like the headcanons, I don't understand why people get so pissed off at like a Buff Byers headcanon. Who hurt you? Why do you care? I understand that a lot of people are like, oh, it's because Will is gender nonconforming. I understand that. As someone who's relatively gender nonconforming, I'm much more masculine. It may be hard to tell from my videos, but I'm rather masculine. I've always been pretty tomboyish, like whatever. Like, I get they them'd all the time. I get like whatever people think, whatever. I'm saying, contrary to my mannerisms and the way that I speak, I am more masculine presenting. So I understand how that is, but I don't think that somebody thinking like somebody that's like, oh, I think it'd be fun if like Will was like super buff. Like, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's a big deal that people make it out to be. Because yes, I do agree that Will is more feminine. I do agree that he's not as gender conforming, and that's totally part of his character. I just don't think it's that big of a deal if he has muscles. Like, I really don't think that takes away from his femininity. From the sport I'm in, I know plenty of extremely feminine women that are very muscular. So it doesn't take away from their femininity. And I think when people get really up in arms about the Will being gender nonconforming thing, which I do agree to a pretty big extent, a lot of it comes down to weird sexist stereotyping, and I got totally ratioed on Twitter for trying to express the statement. Just evil, nasty ratio, which, you know, whatever. Because there's a popular opinion, there's an unpopular opinion, but I'm saying is that, do I think Will is like some jacked, like whatever? No, it's probably just because Finn Wolfhard is so skinny that Noah looks buff next to him. Like, I get that. It doesn't serve anything to the story at all, really. I think people just think that it's fun. It's just a headcanon. Like, I don't get why we are up in arms. I'm like, is this the hill you're really gonna die on? Because listen, I'm as unemployed as everybody else, but sweetheart, I mean, even I'm not up here. I'm like, is this the hill you're gonna die on? Because I don't know. I think it's just kind of annoying. I think people are too annoying. I think that's the thing. I think people are too serious. It's a show. We're having fun. Stop taking this shit so serious. It's so annoying. And this goes for every side, because John Levins needs to shut the fuck up too. Making lists of all the Bylers you're gonna harass. Like, okay. Notice how we probably wouldn't make that about y'all. Anyway, that's my 95 theses, or whatever, how many there were. Thank you, Martin Luther. So I want to talk about what I really want Byler to end up as. In an ideal world, the volume 2 is just full, like, Byler explosion. Obviously it's not what it's gonna be. I want to see Shock Jock opening straight up. Mike is running to Will and, like, hugging him, like, oh my god, Will, like, are you okay? And I want them to just be looking at each other. I want there to be prolonged eye contact, because it's just so canon to me that I feel like it already happened, and I want them to have prolonged eye contact, and then Joyce is looking at him like, damn, my son's really gay. The streets are saying something in the finale episode, but, like, I want it to be episode 7. Ideally, I want them to just be established as soon as possible. I know that's not gonna happen, but ideally, I just want the Byler apocalypse. I know it's not gonna be. So if it's not, then I think episode 7 could be good, because it was, in fact, a 7. And yeah, there's some talking about, like, the basement with the squawk that they have the radio online, like a real one, where they're making references to a basement. They made references to a power outage, and I'm like, who working for that is on AO3? Because it's now the big question: who's initiating, Mike or Will? At first, before season 5, I thought it's probably gonna be Mike, because Will's kind of met a resignation, you know. I just didn't think he would do it. But now I'm kind of 50-50 on it. Because honestly, I'm like, do I even care who initiates it? I just want it to happen. If it just happens, I'll be so happy. Because I feel like it just, either way, but I kind of, I flip-flop between who I want it to be, like, every day. Thinking about, like, Byler Kiss specifically. Because, like, if it were Will, it would be really powerful, because he's being so brave, for one. Because I can tell you, I've been in a situation like that a few times. I have not been brave. I have evaded the situation. So for Will to do that, I'd be like, that's my boy. But if Mike did it, I kind of want Mike to initiate, just because I feel like it would piss everyone off so much, and I just really want it to happen. That maybe I think I do want it to be Mike, mostly just to spite everybody. But also, when we just think about, like, production value, that would be the craziest, because it's like, Mike, like, at 25 subscribers, I'll elaborate on my situationship trauma. And I want it to involve Heroes by David Bowie. And I don't know if they would do it, but I kind of feel like The Cure should also be involved. I just love The Cure. So I was thinking of pictures of you and I almost killed myself. So not for what I actually think is gonna happen. Because for what I want to happen, I think I just want anything, like I don't really care. But how I think it's gonna play out, I honestly cannot, for the life of me, pin it down whether I think it's gonna be like low stakes or high stakes. Like if it's gonna be in battle, like something super intense, or if it's gonna be very like quiet and like peaceful. I really can't figure out because also like I feel like I don't know anything about volume 2. Like I don't know what I'm getting into because we just haven't had much and there's a bunch of like fake leakers and I don't really believe any of them. I want to, but I know it's probably fake and they're just doing it for some clout. I don't know if there will be a direct like explicit confession. There could be, but I'm not putting my money on it. They're definitely not gonna like label anyone, which I guess makes sense because maybe that would make it feel kind of inorganic. But yeah, it's gonna be like unlabeled Mike, so then everybody's probably gonna be like, oh well, what if he really did love Elle? And I don't know, shit like that. I don't really care about it that much as long as they're Endgame. And I think at the end of Sorcerer, when Mike is looking at Will after he snapped those demos, that was his avalanche. People are saying that's when Mike realized his feelings, but I think it's when he accepted his feelings because he was like it was like the point of no return. That was just that to me that was how I interpreted it. I mean, obviously it's like up to interpretation, but I thought to me that felt like it was the snowball, that was the avalanche. He knew he had to go with it. He knew he had to. What am I saying? I don't know. And I think Byler is going to be in the epilogue. I think they're going to be probably established in the epilogue. You know what? I'm just saying, I hope none of these words come back and haunt me, because if they do, I don't know, I'm going to have to do something drastic. But anyway, and I think, okay, my brain tells me that the epilogue leak where Mike is like on the bench with Hopper, my brain tells me that that's fake, but something in me says that I might think that's fake and then I'll watch the TV and it might be on there. So I don't know, but I feel like it could be a fake leak. I mean, like a fake scene to avoid a leak. Much of this is purely speculation for me because I don't have a lot to go off of. We don't know that much. I'm just thinking about what I would like to see personally because, as someone that's no stranger to the weird intense friendship where you can't really tell what's going on there and you want something more and you can't tell if the other person does or not, it's especially like at a young age dealing with that. It would be very healing to see that portrayed the way that most of us, people like me, don't get to have like that happy ending. So I think it'd be really cool of them. I said this in my other video, I've already said enough of like, oh my god, it'd be crazy, it'd be great, it'd be groundbreaking. I've said my piece on that, and I will say more of my piece after everything is done. And this is what I want for Christmas. So what I think about reception, I do think that there has already been a huge shift. I think a lot of people have jumped ship over here to the Byler side, which, of course I'm happy about, but still, it's like, okay, well, you guys were calling us delusional for years, and now all of a sudden you're jumping ship. Okay. But anyway, I think the show has really set it up. I think they've done a good job at just like pushing people to root for Byler. And I don't really question their ability to be able to do that, to continue rooting for them, to be Endgame. I do think, obviously, there's going to be a loud people that are going to have a lot to say, like, oh, it was last minute, it's just fan service, it's gross, it's whatever, and nothing I say is ever going to change those people's minds, because their minds are made up. They're just homophobic. And, nothing I say is going to change that, unfortunately. But what I do have to say is that I don't think that's how the average person thinks. The average person is probably like, okay, cool. And I'm not the average person either, because I'll be here twirling my feet, giggling, jumping up and down. Also, nothing about Byler is last minute. Nothing about it is a sudden pivot. If you know the lore, if you know the scripts, if you know if you know, you know, that it's anything but a sudden switch up. It has been written since day one, and I genuinely believe that if Stranger Things did not get the mass appeal that it did, this would this this would have been squashed years ago. We can literally see on parts of scripts that have been deleted that Will's feelings were meant to be so much more obvious earlier. The fact that some people didn't even pick it up in season 4, who are you? I think it's always been coded into the narrative. Fight me, y'all, I don't know. I guess that's all I have to say for now. I'm definitely planning to cook up another edit. Don't know how long it's gonna take. I actually have one that I made and I never finished. I started and I never finished. To one of my favorite Ethel Cain songs, so if I decide it's good enough, I might birth it into this world. But rest assured, you will be seeing me very soon. I will not shut up. Thank you.